I still see her in my rearview mirror. Every time I drive at night, every time the road stretches empty ahead, she's there, smiling, waiting. This is the story of why I'll never pick up another hitchhiker, and why you shouldn't either. It was late August, and I'd just finished a summer internship in Phoenix. My beat-up Honda Civic was packed with laundry, fast food wrappers, and enough caffeine to power a small army. I was driving the 14-hour haul back to Denver, cutting through the Mojave Desert to save time. Big mistake. The desert at night isn't just empty, it's alive. The shadows play tricks. The heat mirages flicker like ghosts, and sometimes the ghosts flicker back. Around 1:30 a.m., I hit a stretch of Highway 95 so desolate, even the coyotes avoided it. My phone had died hours ago. The radio spat static. I was alone, half asleep, when my headlights caught her. A woman in a white sundress, standing under a flickering street lamp. No car, no backpack, just her, barefoot. Her dark hair tangled by the wind. She looked like my older sister, Mia. Same heart-shaped face, same birthmark on her left wrist. I slowed down. "Don't," my gut screamed. But Mia had gone missing 2 years earlier. What if this was her? What if she needed help? I rolled down the passenger window. "You okay?" She turned slowly. Her eyes were too dark, like spilled ink. "Just a ride to the next town," she said. Her voice was wrong, hollow, like it was coming from the bottom of a well. But the birthmark, it was identical to Mia's. I unlocked the door. The smell hit me first. Rotting gardenias, Mia's favorite flower. She slid into the seat, her dress damp with dew. "Thanks," she whispered. I tried to hide my shaking hands. "What's your name?" No answer. She stared ahead, humming a tune I almost recognized. The radio static sharpened, morphing into a warped version of "Can't Help Falling in Love," the song Mia played on loop before she vanished. I glanced at the GPS. No signal. The desert swallowed the road behind us. "Where's the next town?" I asked. She pointed ahead. "Soon." Her finger was icy when it brushed my arm. I flinched. "Sorry," she said. "The cold never leaves me." That's when I noticed her feet. Cracked, bleeding. Black sand clung to her soles. "You're hurt," I said. She smiled. "It's just dirt from the river." There was no river for 100 miles. The dashboard clock flickered, 2:17 a.m. The numbers glitched, cycling backward. "Almost there," she said. The road ahead curved sharply. A sign flashed by. "Rattlesnake Crossing, next services, 200 miles. My throat went dry. We'd passed Rattlesnake Crossing an hour ago. The engine sputtered. "No, no, no," I muttered, slamming the gas. The car lurched. The headlights died. We coasted into darkness. "Pull over," she said. "I need to show you something." "There's nothing out there," I snapped. Her hand clamped my wrist. "You're wrong." Her grip burned like dry ice. The headlights flickered on, illuminating a dirt road I hadn't seen before. A rusted sign read, "Lake Miriam, 1 mile." Mia's case file flashed in my mind. "Last seen near Lake Miriam, NV." My heart stalled. "Who are you?" She tilted her head. "Don't you recognize me, Jake?" Only Mia called me Jake. "My name's Jacob." The car died. Silence. Then, a wet, gurgling laugh. "You should have stopped looking," she said. Her face began to melt, skin sloughing off, hair unraveling into worms. "Now he'll find you too." I kicked the door open and ran. The desert cold sliced through my shirt. Behind me, the woman shrieked, a sound like bones grinding. "Maya's gone," she wailed. "She's with us now." I didn't look back. The Honda's headlights flared to life ahead. I dove inside, keys miraculously still in the ignition. The engine roared. In the rearview mirror, the woman stood in the road, her mouth unhinging into a black void. And beside her, a figure in a rancher's hat, holding a shovel, grinning. I drove until sunrise. The cops found me at a gas station, babbling about melting faces in Lake Miriam. They humored me, checked the Honda. No mud, no footprints, just a stench of rotting flowers. and a Polaroid in the glove box I'd never seen before. Mia, smiling in her prom dress, standing on a dock. The date on the back, August 22nd, 2021, the day she disappeared, and in the lake behind her, a shadow. Tall, hungry, holding a shovel. I don't drive at night anymore, but last week my headlights caught something on the shoulder. A man in a rancher's hat, thumbing a ride, and in his hand, a rusted shovel, dripping with something dark. I hit the gas, but in the rearview mirror, he smiled and waved. You know that feeling when headlights linger too long in your rearview? When the high beams burn into your skull and no matter how fast you go, they never fade. That's how it started. But by the end, I wished it was just my imagination. This is why I never drive at night. This is what followed me home. It was Thanksgiving weekend. I was driving back to college after visiting my folks in Nebraska. To avoid traffic, I took Route 83, a two-lane highway that cuts through the sandhills. No streetlights, no gas stations, just miles of rolling grasslands under a moonless sky. Around 11 p.m., I noticed the headlights. A semi-truck, way back but gaining fast. Its high beams glared like twin suns, flooding my car with light. I slowed down, expecting it to pass. It didn't, just hovered behind me, engine roaring. Asshole, I muttered, speeding up to 85. The truck matched me, closer now. Close enough to see the grille, rusted, crooked, like a snarling mouth. I tried everything. Changed lanes, slowed to a crawl, flashed my hazards. The truck stayed glued to my bumper. My hands shook, sweat soaked my shirt. Then, it pulled alongside me. I glanced over. The cab was pitch black. No driver. Just emptiness. What the hell? I hit the gas, swerving ahead. The truck fell back, then surged forward again. This time, it rammed me. Metal screamed. My car fishtailed. I white-knuckled the wheel, fighting to stay on the road. The truck backed off, almost playful. I called 911, no signal. The truck revved again, headlights flickering. A pattern, 3 long flashes, 3 short. SOS. But this wasn't a cry for help. It was a threat. I spotted an exit ahead, a ghost town called Bison Creek, population 12. I took it. Gravel sprayed. The truck followed. Main Street was a graveyard. Boarded-up diners, a collapsed post office, and a single flickering neon sign. Motel. I skidded into the parking lot. The truck stopped at the town's edge, idling, watching. The motel office was dimly lit. A bell jingled as I burst in. The clerk, an old man with milky eyes, didn't look up. "Room 7's open," he wheezed. "Cash only." "There's a truck," I stammered. "Ain't no trucks here," he interrupted. "Not since '89. He slid a key across the counter. It was cold, stained with something brown. "Lock your door." Room 7 smelled like mold and mothballs. I shoved the dresser against the door and peered through the blinds. The truck was gone. Relief washed over me. Then, the bathroom faucet turned on. Full blast. I hadn't touched it. The mirror fogged. Words appeared. Wrong room. I bolted. The motel door swung open. The clerk stood there, grinning. "He likes room 7, he said. "Always has." Behind him, the truck's headlights flared, engine roaring. I sprinted to my car. The truck lurched forward, tires spitting gravel. I tore onto the highway, the semi-inches from my bumper. The dashboard clock froze. 3:03 a.m. The radio crackled to life. A man's voice, distorted. "You can't outrun me, little girl," I screamed. The truck rammed me again. My trunk crumpled. The wheel jerked left. I fought it, but the road, it wasn't the same. The grasslands were gone. Now, skeletal trees clawed at the sky. A sign flashed. Bison Creek, 2 miles. The town I'd just fled. "No, no, no!" I sobbed. The truck pulled alongside me. This time, the cab wasn't empty. A man leaned out, his face rotted, eyes milky white. He grinned, revealing blackened gums. "Almost home," he rasped. Then he lobbed something at my windshield. A glass bottle. It shattered. Gasoline? No. Smelled like meat. Rotting meat. The truck swerved, forcing me toward a ditch. I yanked the wheel. Too late. The car flipped, glass exploded, metal screeched. Silence. I woke to flashing lights. Paramedics. Cops. They said I'd hit a deer, totaled the car, but there was no deer. Just chunks of rancid meat embedded in the windshield. And footprints. Massive boot prints, leading from the wreck to the truck's tire marks. They vanished at the town limits. The cops dismissed it, but I looked up Bison Creek. In 1989, a trucker named Harlan Voss murdered 6 people at the motel. He stored body parts in his rig. The cops cornered him in room 7. He blew his head off with a shotgun. His truck? A rusted Freightliner with a crooked grill? They never found it. Last week, I got a letter. No return address. Inside was a Polaroid of my wrecked car. Written on the back, "Room 7's ready for you. H." And at night, I hear it. The growl of an engine. The flicker of high beams. Harlan's not done with me, and next time, I won't wake up. GPS coordinates don't lie, but that night, they did. We followed the map to a rest stop that vanished by morning, and what we found there, it wasn't just a place, it was a trap. This is why my family never takes road trips anymore. This is why we sleep with the lights on. July 4th weekend, my wife, Amy, and I were driving our twin boys to Yellowstone. To avoid holiday traffic, we took Highway 287, a scenic route through Wyoming's backcountry. Big skies, empty roads, and 0 cell service. Around 9 p.m., the boys needed a bathroom break. Amy pulled up Google Maps. "There's a rest stop in 10 miles, she said. "Prairie Winds Rest Area." Sounded harmless. It wasn't. The rest stop appeared suddenly, lit by a flickering neon sign. "Welcome, weary travelers." No other cars, just a cinder-block bathroom, a picnic area, and a vending machine humming like a dying wasp. The boys bolted for the bathroom. Amy and I stretched our legs. That's when I noticed it. The silence. No crickets, no wind, just static. Like the world had been muted. Amy checked her phone. No signal. Weird. The boys burst out of the bathroom, pale. "Dad, there's someone in there," my son whispered. "A man. He looked like you, but wrong." I laughed it off. Probably a mirror. But when I stepped inside, the stalls were empty, except for mine. The door was locked. A voice, my voice, hissed, "Leave, now!" We sped out of there. But 5 miles later, the same neon sign glowed ahead. "Welcome, weary travelers." Same bathroom, same picnic tables. "This isn't possible," Amy muttered. The boys screamed. "We're back!" I floored it. 10 miles, 20. The sign appeared again, and again. No matter which way we turned, we looped back. The gas gauge plummeted. The clock stuck at 9:47 p.m. "We're stuck," Amy whispered. "Like them." She pointed to the vending machine. Inside, rotting snacks. And a newspaper dated July 4th, 1999. Headline, "Family of 4 vanishes on Highway 287. The boys sobbed. Amy hugged them. "We'll flag someone down," I said, but the highway stayed empty. Until headlights. A minivan identical to ours pulled in. The doors opened. Out stepped us. Same clothes, same faces, but their eyes, solid black. "They're here," fake Amy said, grinning. "Time to switch." We locked the doors. The doppelgangers circled the car, tapping the windows. "Let us in," fake me crooned. "You've been here too long." The boys screamed as their doubles pressed against the glass, mouths unhinging like snakes. "Drive!" Amy shouted. I reversed, hitting fake Amy. She didn't flinch, just laughed. "You can't leave." We couldn't. The real horror began. Every loop, the doubles grew more aggressive. They slashed our tires, smashed the windshield, whispered through the vents, "You'll starve, you'll rot, you'll become us." On the third loop, we found graves behind the bathroom. 4 markers, our names, dates, July 4th, 2023, tomorrow. Desperate, I rammed the vending machine. It sparked. The neon sign died. And there, in the darkness, a dirt path we hadn't seen before. "Go!" Amy yelled. We fishtailed onto it, the doubles shrieking. The path narrowed, trees clawed the car. And then, pavement. A highway sign. Yellowstone, 50 miles. We'd escaped. The cops called it a prank. The rest stop? Doesn't exist, they said. But last week, my son drew a picture at school. A neon sign. Welcome, weary travelers. And 4 stick figures, with black eyes. His teacher asked where he'd seen it. In my dreams, he said. They visit every night. They say we're late. We moved, changed our names. But this morning, a package arrived. No postmark. Inside, a vending machine candy bar, rotten and writhing with maggots. And a note, next rest stop is yours, the family.